the freezers, you're not cooling down the air. This is how Trent described it to me. You are removing heat from the air. So he's like, you're not cooling anything. He's like, it's not like you're placing an ice cube in a glass and it's melting and it's cooling off the water around it. It's not that. He's like, you are taking heat from the air and removing it.
That's
so
a cool way
when you compress ammonia to a specific pressure, it'll then absorb heat.
That's really cool. Actually.
So like if you went into the compressor room, there were some areas where you put your hands on the pipe and it was hot.
Mm-hmm. And some were cold, right?
And some of them had ice over them. That's why. So it would get to that specific pressure, and then it would go through as a cold unit. It would go into the freezers, go through all the the coils in there, taking all the heat out of the air that was there, and then once it removed the heat from that air, the fans would then blow that throughout the room, thus circulating any warm air that happened on the other side back around, so that it could be absorbed into that cold. So you could take that hot air out, and so that's how he explained. I mean, I think there's like way more science to it, but I have no freaking idea.
No, I wouldn't either.
He explained it to me a couple times, and JV tried a couple times, just the way it worked was kind of funky. Because then once you removed all the heat from in there, the ammonia would be crazy hot. Mm-hmm. So then it would go outside, and then it would go into the condensers where all that water was.
And that's why it would be drawn to that so well, because ammonia is drawn to water.
Correct. And so, you know that big tub that was outside?
Yes.
That
one that was up top, like there was a catwalk around it and everything?
Yeah, and then you could look down?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that specifically is designed as an emergency dump.
So in case...
So if you have a major leak in the system, what you would do is you would turn a valve and it would push all the ammonia from the system under a pipe that would go into the bottom of that, release it into the water itself, so that it would then bond with the water molecules in there and wouldn't be devastating to like the local area. People wouldn't like suffocate, things like that. So that's why when the valve broke on the big tank, it was such a big deal, because you can't weld it because it's under pressure.
And if you
so
got that in contact with extreme heat, it would explode.
Yes.
Correct?
Oh yeah. And if it leaks too quickly, it would probably kill quite a few people pretty close by.
Oh yeah.
Like it was about a half an inch away from killing Jake and Carl.
Oh, actually?
Like, dead serious. Like 100%. If it would have cracked just a little bit more, that's game.
Oh, that's scary.
That fast.
That is scary.
Dead, gone, game over. Right. So yeah, so that one, like when that one broke, we had to waste so much freaking ammonia because we had to release it into water. So I don't know if you remember, because we had to run a hose over. I think Tanner probably remembers it, because I told you to probably stay away from there if possible, because the ammonia was so strong.
Yeah, I remember there would be some days at the farm where if there was an ammonia leak, you told me to not work there.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, no, it's not worth it. Because then you'd have to run it underwater, and it was just, and especially if most leaks weren't bad. Like that one specifically, like where it broke on the tank, was really bad, because we had to take all the ammonia. Like we're talking like $40,000 worth of ammonia out of that. Like it was an expensive break. I don't know if insurance covered. I don't know how that worked. But it took us about 5 days to pump off all the ammonia, day and night. So like what would happen was Simon would be there at night because he lived there. Mm-hmm. So he would go over, replace the bin of water, because when you release the ammonia into the water, there's only so much the water can take.
Yeah.
Right. There's only
starts evaporating.
Not
evaporating, but
sort of. It actually condenses into this oily, nasty film on there.
But still giving off.
Right. It'll still get off. Yeah, it'll still give that off. So like you had to replace the bin every like 4 hours, something like that.
That's
like,
a lot. For 5 days straight, day and night. That is a lot.
But it's because we couldn't let a ton off all at the same time. It had to be a teeny tiny bit. Otherwise, if you increase the pressure too much, that valve might just explode. That's right.
Yeah, or the water couldn't handle it.
Well, even if it could, it would still like release at the same rate.
How did you get rid of the water though? Like, did you just dump it somewhere?
I think we had there's a specific way that the EPA makes you get rid of it. I can't remember.
You had to have like a special way of
disposing of it. I think we had a company like just get rid of them because it was just bonded with water. Because if we dumped it in, it would like really affect crops and stuff like that. So
like really damage things.
Yeah, because there was initially it was like, well, maybe we could put it in the drainage pond. Because the drainage pond, well, it's far enough away from like any houses.
And it was deep enough in the ground.
And it was deep enough in the ground. There was a high enough water concentration in there that we could even flood that if we needed to. We could just crank water out and put it through the ditch, and we're good to go. But with that one, it would have been illegal for us to do that because it was just releasing that kind of chemical into the environment. That's not,
even though it's your property.
Correct. It's still frowned upon. It's just like you can't dump your what's it called, your oil just on the ground. Yeah. Same kind of thing. Like you gotta dispose of it in the right way, otherwise it's bad for the environment. But
I remember pouring a lot of sawdust on like
oil spills.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of sawdust.
So I think
we didn't have cat litter. That would have been worse. I think.
The cat litter? I don't know. Sawdust was bad enough because there's always like oil leaks and crap in the freaking shop.
I feel like it should have just been a dirt ground for the shop because there was so much maintenance that went on in there.
Yeah, well, Tanner had to clean that place like twice a week.
I feel so bad.
Zeke and JV did not know how to keep that place clean.
No, they didn't.
No, but I don't know. Same with the tool room. I mean, how many times in a month will we go in and reorganize that place?
A lot. Oh, I remember me and Jake got stuck in there for like 3 days straight reorganizing crap. I'm like,
okay. If there's one thing that grinds my gears when it comes to the tool room, or in fact, just what
grinds my gears?
You know what really grinds my gears? Is that we take all the tools, we color code them,
yes,
put them in their respective areas, and either A, no one bothers to put them away in their respective color-coded zones, B, people take the tools and hide them somewhere.
Right, everyone would like have their stash. Yep.
It was not.
The organization was not there.
Yeah, and with all the meetings that we would have in that cafeteria, or not really cafeteria, lunch break room, I would repeat the same thing.
Always.
And lo and behold,
no one would listen.
No one listens to me.
I think organize the worst.
Okay, I am missing
one to the right, back over there.
Okay. Huh.
I remember probably the worst thing to organize in that room was probably like the bolts and everything else. Like the tools were fine. That was easier because they were color coded. But reorganizing like bolts and screws and nuts was such a pain.
See, I at the end of everything, like before I left, I scrapped all of those.
Really?
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. So I went through. I told myself before I left the farm, I'm like, well, something's gonna be organized before I leave. And so I got the all of the pipe fittings upstairs above the tool room done. Perfect. Organized by size, type, and like
all the classic.
Yep, all of that taken care of, right? And like types, like you had like slip to fit, like whatever it might be. Then I went down and I cleaned out all of the storage sheds out in the boneyard. Got those cleaned out. Cleaned out anything that we weren't going to use ever got scrapped or trashed. Period. So like all those buckets of bolts, like I don't even know where they would come from.
Oh yeah.
Like they would just spawn there. It was crazy. Like I don't know where they would come from. Every single one of those, I took them out and I dumped it in the scrap metal bin.
I don't blame you.
I didn't even bother because it's like, you know what? We go and buy new bolts anyway. Not gonna waste our time getting new ones.
Here.
It was like that was ridiculous, but yeah, I remember that was like the last thing that I organized. I was like finally like, all right, that's game.
I remember another thing. Speaking of the boneyard, I remember when we went out there and we had old fluorescent lights, and we're like, dude, if you break this, walk away. Just don't
don't breathe it in.
Breathe in. Do not.
Yeah, don't breathe it in.
Do not do that.
It's not particular.
Yep, I saw it. There, the Sly Devil.
Sneaky.
But dude, after you told me that, I was like freaking out. I'm like, breathe something in I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like probably.
Well, every time you walk into the farm, you breathe in something.
Something that's not great for your body.
Especially for
you know what I do not miss.
That was bad.
You know what I don't miss about the farm, considering that like I'm like the sweeper guy.
Yeah.
You know, all the dirt and dust that kicks up into the air. I would get home and take like Q-tips, clean out my nose, and it's just black. Just
black.
Just tons and tons of dirt in there. And I think when I had like my nose surgery, is when I guess like something to do with like straightening out the nose or something. When they were cleaning, I think the doctor said that they had found some black gunk.
That's funny. Well, not funny. It's kind of funny now that you think about it. Like it's like, wow, how long was it in there?
Like
I started working at the farm consistently since spring of 2013.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
And you got that surgery in what, 2020, 2021?
It was before the pandemic.
So 2018 probably.
19? Nose surgery or jaw surgery?
No.
This was nose surgery.
Nose surgery? Yeah, that was probably 19.
Yeah, that had to have been 19 because
prior
to that was jaw surgery.
Yeah.
No. So the jaw surgery was just before the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember with this doctor I was seeing with the nose surgery, or who would do the surgery on my nose. Actually, that was when the pandemic had already started.
I got you.
Okay, so it was jaw surgery and then nose surgery.
You've been down on the farm for like 3 years when you had that surgery.
Oh. I remember when I was in the brine building and my dad's like, go over there and smell that bin. I'm like, oh, that stinks. And he comes over and closes the bag over my head and I'm like, he just starts freaking out. He opens the bag. He's like, how was that? I'm like, my lungs don't feel so good.
One time I won a bet. I kept my head in a barrel of brine for 20 minutes.
20?
Yeah.
How did you not die?
So the thing was, like, you know those blue drums that you would have, you would put a bin liner in there, and then you would fill up a little bit with brine in the bottom, and then you would seal it, and then when they needed down the line, you would open that up, they would dump it back in. So I was doing that, how old was I? I was 15, I think. So I was like 15, and it was another one of it was Preston. So like Preston, his older brother Jordan, he worked at the farm before he did. Like Jordan worked there before Preston did. So Jordy and I were working together first. He's a year and a half older than me, and so he's like, hey. Cause like he was like, I think I'm getting used to this brine stuff. Like we were out there doing that stuff, and he's like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, bet. Like let's see who's better at this. Cause I'm like, yo, dude, I can handle this way better than you can, man.
Oh yeah.
And so he's like, okay. So we had the barrels there, and he's like, okay, first one to pull their head out loses, buys the other one a drink. Bet. So I didn't have any money on me, so I couldn't have bought him a drink. So I was like, yo, I can't lose this. And the mind of a 15-year-old, like, well, I can't just like go find like 50 cents and buy him a freaking drink. So I kept and it was like one of those where it was filled up to a specific point. So we were just bent over the top of the bin, just not like head in the water.
Oh,
or in the brine, but like
I would not expect
like in there just like
breathing in fumes. Like what was the mixture of that? Like
calcium chloride, hydrochloric acid, and water.
So pretty bad stuff to be breathing.
Not great for you. Not great. I feel like Jose should, and I told him this before I left. I'm like, you need to donate your body to science so you can see the long-term effects of brining on the human body.
He's like, okay.
But he, because he always did the, mixture. So
we put it together, right?
Because he would always do that because he was better. I mean, he was the adult working, so he was managing the brine side of things. But he would put it in, and so like he'd go over, he'd fill up this bin full of calcium chloride, and they just take up a drum of hydrochloric acid, just this big old like barrel or whatever, and like just dump it in, and then he would tell us, he's like, hey, stand upwind when he would dump this powder, this white powder into this mixture. It was woof, like all that, and he's just kind of sitting there like
He's like, I'm fine.
yeah, he's all right, but yeah, it's freaking nuts. He would do that. Don't
do dangerous stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he would do. But yeah, Jose would do that. But yeah, that stuff is not great for you.
No.
I never had to do much in the brine production. Like, a lot of my siblings did that more than I did. But
Sarah, right?
yeah, but that one, I mean, by the time I came around, we weren't even doing that whole process.
Oh, really?
I mean, there was some process with it, but like, they were doing
Okay,
stuff.
goodbye.
Like in the early days, we were one of the few companies that would actually do brining.
That's why I can't eat those.
Really? See, I still like them.
I can't. I just stuck my hand in this chemical.
Oh
I
yeah, dude.
can't handle
I can still do any of the products that we have there. I can still eat them. Still be
Yeah,
fine.
cherries don't bug me whatsoever. It's just
Marashinos get you. See, I can do them all, dude. I don't even mind. But like even the brine, like, I mean, I still like I said, I mean, I had a decent enough tolerance, but back then when Sarah was working there when she was younger, the market was much bigger for brine cherries.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, by the time I was there, I mean, we had like one customer left really.
Oh
We would
really?
do brine cherries for, yeah.
That's crazy to think
Yeah.
about because there's like a lot of those put in production around
Oh, yeah.
Payson, just Payson alone.
Yeah, but they're just not as big as they were. Like let's say back in like the 80s and the 90s, you would have more people getting, like, let's say an ice cream sundae kind of thing. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
It was more common to get something like that versus now the biggest market would be Sonic and like a cherry limeade type
Yeah,
thing.
like a slushy.
And even then you're looking at a stem on tart cherry long stem.
Yeah.
So you've
Oh,
got a different.
that's right.
It's a different animal in and of itself. So
That's crazy to think about. Like they're that specific and that. Not, I don't want to say picky, but that. What's the word? Like.
well, just particular.
Watermelon.
Nice.
I could really go for some watermelon right
good
now.
stuff.
I could too. Like watermelon.
That's like the
sounds-
best fruit to eat during the summer.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Except without
By far.
without the black seeds. Like I don't know why those just bug me.
Yeah, haven't seen a watermelon.
I don't know where I've heard this, but apparently there's a myth that like
It'll grow out of your stomach.
if you eat a black seed.
Honestly, I don't know why that's even there. Like, I feel like people just say that. I honestly thought initially it was because like it was bad for you.
Yeah, that's what I initially
Like-
thought too. But then they're like, no, it's gonna grow in your stomach.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
exactly. It's like no. You need like sunlight, soil, nutrients, not like an acid bath,
Yeah,
right?
you have to eat. You have to eat the seed and then eat dirt and then
Right.
water,
And, well,
and then you need sunshine.
even then,
in
it
your
wouldn't.
body.
You just need to like lay out in the sun. Like, I don't even know how that works. Pretty
We
gross.
have 100 stars, and there's only 20-ish stars left.
Nice.
Cool.
So I guess if we were to, let's see, how many stars did we have when we started recording tonight? It's like 80
I'm
something.
about
Yeah.
to say about 80 something.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm thinking 86. That's the number I'm thinking.
Yeah,
So
I
probably
should.
another session or two of this, and then we're done.
Nice. 100%ed.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody so much for watching Super Mario Galaxy post game. Now doing 100%. If you like our content, click subscribe, ring the bell, leave a like and a comment, and we will see you tomorrow night.
See you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.
Good night.